Hey family, welcome to Love Samantha Lee, the More Than Just Pretty podcast. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite platform, I'm so glad you're here. We keep it real about love, faith, and life. Are you ready? Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode. It is called Do You Trust Me? Before I get into the meat of the message, I just want to thank everybody that has decided to hit the subscribe button, that has hit the like button. I am, y'all, overwhelmed with gratitude with how fast the channel's moving. We've just started this endeavor. I did not expect myself to do another channel or to record myself visually recording the podcast for a while. And so this is a God plan. And I just want to thank everybody that supported me in this. I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. With that being said, let's get into the meat of the message. So y'all, something happened last week. I'm just going to be honest with you about how it went down. Okay. And I need you guys to just pay attention to the journey because I want you to really, really understand how I got to this place. All right. So on Saturday, y'all, I was minding my business. I did my walk and everything like that. And towards the end of the day, I felt led to go get my nails done. I know it's going to sound crazy, but it's the truth. I felt led to go get my nails done. I go to get my nails done. The lady that does my nails was not herself. And I could tell she wasn't herself. So when she came over to me to start my nails, I started asking how she was doing, what was going on. And she starts to tell me that she went through a situation that caused her that somebody basically took money from her. All right. They said they were going to do a job. They didn't do the job and they demanded payment for a job they did not complete. They actually misled her. And so she was distraught about this. She was distraught about that and just a lot of different other things. And immediately in my spirit, God tells me to pray for her. Well, y'all, let me back up before I move forward. I was on a plane not too long ago and a woman was sitting next to me and God had called me to pray for this woman for her healing. And I was like, it's a little weird. I don't want to come off as one of them like Christians. It's just like, let me lay hands on you. And, so I overthought it. And God got me on that one. He rebuked me. He convicted me about not doing that. Now, y'all, some of you guys might be like, Sam, like, what do you mean by, these promptings? Well, when you start getting closer to God, you guys, God will speak to you in his own way. Everybody gets a different thing. But one thing that I will tell you is that as I've gotten closer to God and I've become more and more obedient to him, I hear his voice more and more clearly. It's not this deep voice that's like, I am God. Stop what you're doing. It's not that. It's like me. It's my voice, but it's more the voice. I actually heard it this morning when I was driving. It's like my voice, but not my voice. It's like my voice, but more sure, more concise. Doesn't really say like too many words at one time. It's going to say a word or several words. It's going to make a lot of sense. It's almost like a spiritual download. It's like my voice, spiritual download, and bam, I have this revelation and there's peace that comes with that revelation. Like I know it's from him. Like I know I didn't think that thought, right? I know I didn't know that, or I didn't think that thought. And it doesn't sound like the enemy's voice, which guys, I've done videos on what the enemy's voice sound like. So you test it against those two things. Like, would I think this? And would the enemy tell me this? Like you have to test it both against both things. So once I do those tests, I test against the word of God. I know it's God. Like if you're calling me to pray for somebody, that's probably God. I don't want to do it because that feels weird to me to just to do that, right? And then I know the enemy isn't asking me to pray for people. Like, so I already know that those two things are out. It's probably God. Okay. So in this situation, I knew it was God, right? So I was like, okay, in the plane, I didn't do it, but I felt a rebuke. So I said, okay, this time I'm going to pray. So I prayed. I asked to pray for this woman. She said, no, she doesn't worship the God I serve. So she didn't feel comfortable with me praying for her. I said, that's fine. I'll pray for you on my own. I understand what you're going through. Well, later on, y'all, God tells me to give to this woman, to be generous to this woman and help give the money she lost. Right. And so at this point, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it's first month. Y'all know it's bills been paid. And you're like, okay, I hear you, but I had a lot outgoing, God. Like, I don't know. And God has been asking me to be a lot more generous. Generosity in the kingdom is a weapon. All right. Generosity in the kingdom is a weapon. If you don't believe me, Google it. It's a weapon. God calls us to be generous. That is not like a newfound concept. That it's his money. He gave it to you. If he didn't give you the gifts that you had, if he didn't give you the opportunities that you were given, let's be real. A lot of us have been given opportunities that other people have worked their whole lives for, right? Or there's people that are super talented that didn't get the same honor. So we know, listen, a lot of why I am where I am and I've done what I've done is God. So I can't hold on to my money because it's not my money. It's God's money that he gave me. He blessed me with that. So God's been working on me in that area. I'm not going to say I'm perfect at it, but God is dealing with me. So anyway, he tells me to be generous. I struggle with that. I'm like, God, is that you? This might be demonic. Just like. And so anyway, long story short, I end up asking the woman if she needs the money. Like, I'm like, okay, God, do you need the money? Now, that's not what God told me to do, right? God told me to just give it. I'm like, do you need it? How bad do you want? Like I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. I just was like, do you need the money? And I asked several times, like, to really like. But how many people are really? There's some people that will accept the money from you, but a lot of people are not going to just accept money from you. Like, do you need my money? Like, you're like gonna be like, no, I don't need it. Like, some people will, but a lot of people, like myself, because I've got pride, I'm not going to say I need it, right? So other people, there are people that will just say, yes, I need it, and you give it, but a lot of people are going to say no. So anyway, she says no, and I walk away. I have conviction immediately. I have no peace about it. I know that God called me to just give it, right? I know it, but I'm fighting with myself. I'm like battling myself because I have stepped obedience, but I didn't fully do what God had called me to do. And it was a test. It was a test. Do you trust me? Do you trust me? And so I bring that point up because later on in the week I ended up making that right. I knew that it became very clear to me that God was rebuking me for that. And I'll tell you how I know, guys. So for some of you guys who are on the journey, some of you guys are in the wilderness, some of you guys who are going on the spiritual awakening, God will start to wake you up in the middle of the night. It's going to happen. You're going to start waking up 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Like sometimes I wake up even at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. That's going to happen. Those times, in my experience, not everybody's experience, my experience, have meant something. So for those of you guys who are listening, you wake up in the middle of the like, let's say you wake up at 2:30 in the morning. Let's say you wake up 3 o'clock in the morning. Let's say you wake up at 3:30 in the morning. What I would challenge you to do is to look up what that time means. And what I mean by that is not angel numbers, not all these other numbers, biblical meaning. So if you wake up at 3:33 in the morning, look up 3:33 biblical meaning, right? There's things that are going to come up. I suggest you look at the Strong's Concordance for Greek and Hebrew. Those numbers mean something according to the Bible. Strong's Concordance is a biblical base. Like there's words, Greek and Hebrew words that are attached to a number that are based on the Bible. Okay. So you wake up at 3:33, you wake up at 3:34, whatever the time is, you look at the biblical meaning and then you look at the Bible verse. Listen, I have been doing this for a couple months now. few months now, actually, it usually means something. If it doesn't mean something in the moment, it will mean something. It will mean something eventually. Like I literally had an epiphany today about something that I had seen weeks ago. I had applied it a different way weeks ago, but then God gave me clarity. Like God gave me clarity today as I was driving what it actually meant. Okay. So again, I challenge you, for those of you guys who are on this journey, you wake up in the middle of in the morning, you're like, blah, blah, blah. I literally take the time that I wake up at, I pray, right? Because that's the point, y'all. When you're waking up in the middle of the morning, it's not for you to go back to sleep. I challenge you to pray. Pray. You guys know how to speak in heavenly language, speak in heavenly language. Pray. Okay. So then when you go back to bed, I look up the number once I go back to bed. So I look up two numbers, right? And that is how I check these numbers. Well, anyway, on this particular day, okay, God had woken me up at a number. I kid you not. It is called greedy for unjust gain, or greedy for base gain, which basically means money. You're greedy for money you did not earn. And I was like, wait, you're not talking about me, because I'm y'all. For me, I'm pretty generous. I'm not really the type of person that's like, I don't consider myself to be greedy. If anybody knows me, I'm not greedy. Like I'm very simple, live a very simple life. Like I don't look at myself in that way, right? So I'm looking at it like, you can't be talking about me. Is there someone in my life that's greedy? Reveal them, Jesus. I can laugh about it now, but I was panicked. And usually when I'm panicked about something, usually when I have that little, like, what does that mean? What does it mean? It means something. It usually means something. Like there is something that I'm being convicted of. And in the moment of me like spinning to try to figure it out, usually that's the problem. I'm trying to figure it out and God's going to reveal it. He's going to reveal it. But anyway, so as I found out, because immediately after I got that message, I kid you not, I got a message on YouTube, because God speaks to me through YouTube, y'all. He just does. Okay. I'm sorry. You know, when I wake up, listen, I don't know. I don't make the rules here, but God be speaking to me through YouTube. He do. The titles, I'll be praying something. I will purposefully leave my phone in another room. I will pray quietly, whatever the case may be. I guarantee you, I will go through that YouTube thing and there will be something that pops up, something that's highlighted. Some of you guys, we overthink when certain things are highlighted to us, like a number or a video. Or when we have the Holy Spirit, when we're spending time with God, our intuition is influenced by the Holy Spirit. Okay. When it talks about in the Bible that when we submit to the Lord, He establishes our steps. Steps are not like physical steps. He's not telling your left foot and your right foot to move. He's establishing your steps by influencing your decision making. Okay. So a lot of times when you feel led to watch something, or something just pops up and you're like, wait, I wasn't even looking at anything like this. Like I wasn't even checking for this. Why is this popping up? A lot of times, my experience, it has been God using something to bring attention to something. Like you see a video in a title and you're like, wait, and you're like, and God's been dealing with you about that. Let's be clear. Random videos, sometimes the enemy can use algorithms, the enemy can use he can use all these things too. When it resonates, when God's been dealing with you in an area and a video pops up with a title that resonates with what you've been dealing with, yeah, you pay attention to that. Okay. Nothing's by accident. I learned that there's no coincidence. There's no coincidence. Okay. Back to my point. So I had gotten that number and I was like, Lord, who is it? Reveal them, Jesus. I do not want them in my path. All right. So I can laugh about it now. Right. So anyway, he shows me a video that says God needs you to trust Him more. I've never seen this content creator before. I've never seen any of his videos. I wasn't watching anything about this. So I was like, oh, okay. Something inside me made me click it. in the video, it talks about how literally it says, when God asks you to give it, you give. When God asks you to give money, you give it. You don't know, like, you don't realize, you don't know what that could have meant to that person, this, that, and the third. Like, talks about, like, that's his money. Do you trust him? Do you trust him? God needs you to trust him more when he asks you to let go of a relationship, when he asks you to let go of a job, when he asks you to let go, or to pursue something, or to look at something, or to focus on something, or to get ready for something. Like, do you trust him? Do you trust him? And he will test you in those areas. Well, when he said the money, when he tells you to give money, it's an act of trust, right? It's like, I trust God that if I give this, he's going to meet that. He knows the needs that I have. He knows. God knows. And I've already expressed to you before in this journey, like, he's already shown up multiple times to provide for me. So it's like, do I trust him? He's already shown me he's faithful. Do I trust him to be faithful? Right? Because then I also was seeing videos about miracles and how God uses people to be miracles, or there's people that you may be encountering that you think are humans, but they're actually angels. Like, it says in the Bible that, be careful. Be careful how you treat people, because you may be encountering an angel. You don't realize it. Okay. So again, I got the video and I knew once I saw the video, the conviction hit me. I knew exactly what was being said. God gave me that money. God gave me the jobs that I have. God has given me the ability to care for myself. So who am I to hold on to things that don't belong to me? Meaning he gave it to me. That's his money. So who am I to say I'm not going to give when he asks me to give, no matter how crazy it seems? Like, in fact, usually it seems crazy to you, that is literally faith. And I talked about in past episodes, without faith, it is possible to please God. So I was convicted. That next day, God showed me like, I was taking a shower, and God showed me a vision of what he wanted me to do. I had so much peace about it. I did it. I was like, okay, I am not going to be obedient. I'm not going to be disobedient again. You will not have to say this about me ever again. And so I did it. And y'all, you know what? It felt so good. Like, it was like, oh, I needed it. Like, in the future, when I had more, I want to be able to be like dropping checks off at people's houses and just like watch them, like, like, and just be like anonymous, like, I just loved it. And it was like, okay, I see what God, like, it's freeing. It frees you to really hear God and trust him. And yes, I had the enemy talking to me the whole time, like, what are you going to do? That's a lot, blah, 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 just talking to me. But I knew that that's what God wanted me to do. Like, I knew it. I'm very clear. And once I did it, I had so much peace. I was like, oh, I'm free. Oh, I'm free. I'm free. I'm free, God. Thank you, Jesus. But it goes back to the point that I want to be very clear about. He hit me with this line. Do you trust him? Do you trust me, Sam? Do you trust me? Do you really trust me? And in this journey, you guys, I'll be very, very honest with you. I believe the closer and closer I get to promise, the harder and harder the sacrifices become. Like, I feel like I've been in a wilderness season. I was talking to somebody the other day about it. I feel like I've been in what people would consider a wilderness season for about a year. Definitely a year. For sure. Like a year. And I think that the season has intensified the closer I get to promise. And it has become more challenging. It's become more pressure. There's been more things that I've given up. There's more things that I've had to release. There's things that I've seen happen. And I know that God is really challenging me to trust him. And as I've gotten closer, I've encountered a lot of people that reach out to me and they ask me questions. And I know that there's going to be things that God calls me to do in the kingdom as it relates to some of the things that I'm dealing with now. Like, I know that I'm being prepared. I'm very, very clear that I'm being prepared. And one of the main things I tell people is that God is really testing our ability to trust him. That in our vulnerability, in our generosity, in the things that we have to give up, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's anger, whether it's our fear, whether it's pride, whether it's ego, whether it could be so many different things, family, that God is calling us to give up. And what I have seen in myself and others is that we let go of just a little bit. We're not really willing to release everything. And it's an indication we don't really trust God like we say we do. I don't meet a person. I'm like, do you trust God? Yeah, I trust him. But I don't want to give up the relationship. No. I'll just stop doing this. When they know God is calling them out of the relationship, but they are unwilling. They don't trust him enough. Because that don't sound good. That doesn't sound like we trust God. Like hypothetically speaking, I trust him, but to give up the relationship, I don't have another relationship to go to, and what am I gonna do, and what is it gonna be, and where's the next one coming from? And it's like that's part of trusting God. And again, family, I want to be very clear. I have struggled in this area. This is not me speaking from a place of like, I've got it together, because that's not true. It's just not true. God has worked on me in this area, and I'm being very honest about an area that he just challenged me in. Like, okay, if I tell you to give, and if you get more, I need to be able to trust you. That when I bless you with more, when I give you more, that I can trust you to do what I've called you to do, and not hesitate, and not second guess, and not hoard it for yourself. I need to be able to trust you. And a lot of us, we want more, and we're praying for more, and we say we want these things, but God is like, how bad do you want it, and how much do you trust me? Do you actually trust me? If I look at your actions, if I see your day to day, how much do you invite me into your decision making? How much do you allow the principles that I set before you? How much do you allow that to guide what you decide to do? Do you really trust me? It sounds good to say you trust God. I'm saying that from experience, but very few people I meet really trust God. And I'm saying this for myself, because God in this season has challenged me to trust him in areas that I've never trusted him in. Never. And y'all, it's been hard. There's been times, y'all, where I'm like, I feels like I'm breaking. I remember one point I was crying every single day, and I was like, God, this feels like I'm breaking. And I heard that little voice inside me say, I'm building. Because guys, I was broken. I was so broken. So broken from past hurts and different walls that I had built up to protect myself. And God was like knocking those walls down. I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. But God was like, no. In order for me to bring you to where I'm taking you, I need for you to trust me. And trust me in these areas. Because the way you are right now, you're going to sabotage your promise. And when I started seeing that a lot of my actions, my reactivity was really just trauma influenced. It wasn't based on clarity. It wasn't based on purpose. It was based upon areas in my life that I'd been hurt in. And I'll be honest with you guys. I'm trusting God in areas I've never trusted him in before. Never. I've never trusted him in the areas I'm trusting him in now. I shared last week, I have my hands out. I surrender. I surrender all. I don't know exactly when or whatever. I know what God has told me, but he's shown, like, I surrender. And there was a moment this Sunday, y'all. I gotta share this story because it's very, very, it's like, it's crazy. So I go to church and my trainer's supposed to come with me to church on Sunday. He ends up canceling last minute. There's a point to the story. Hear me out. So he cancels last minute, and something tells me to bring my daughter to the service with me. Normally I take her um children's church. And so I didn't this time, and that was fine. Let her draw. And I'm like, God, why do I have her in here? Because my baby is not like mature enough at this point to just sit and listen to a sermon. She's, whatever. So I natural instinct. I always take notes. I write down my notes, but I gave her the notepad. I started taking notes on my phone and just kind of adjusted accordingly. And so at the end of the service, I leave. I talk with a couple people that I know that I'm friends with, and the lady says to me, altar call. And I'm like, no, I'm good. And something inside me was like, go back. I'm like, okay. So I go back and I see a woman, and like, she's highlighted to me as there's a bunch of people like altar call, but she's highlighted to me. So I go to her, and she starts to pray. And I feel led to just bare my soul, essentially, because there's areas in my life that I'm struggling to believe God for. If I'm being completely honest, it's hard when you don't see it and you're like trying to believe for it. I'm just keeping it 100. Like, that faith walk is real, right? And I haven't been conditioned to walk in faith in certain areas of my life, so this is all very, very new to me, And so I'm not telling her the area, but I'm telling her the struggle. I'm telling her the feelings associated to the struggle. And, after she prays and she looks at me, and she literally says the area that I'm struggling with. Like, she says, is it this? I'm like, I start to cry. I start to cry. Because it could have been like, I'm not giving enough specific details for her to know what area I'm talking about, right? So when she says it, I cry immediately, because that is the area that God has been putting on me. And I'm like, I'm struggling to believe it. I'm being honest with you. I'm struggling. I'm like, God, I don't know. And I'm fighting with myself, but I have so many promptings. I have so many signs. I see so many things. And I'm like, I feel like I'm crazy. Like, I feel like I'm crazy, but I feel like without actually seeing it manifested in real life, I see it. Like, I feel it. I'm getting these signs and wonders that literally it don't make sense. I feel like I'm crazy. I don't know, like, but I feel like God is saying, like, so clearly, like, this is happening, like, and I'm like, okay. So when she says it, and she's like, no, God, that is God. And I'm like, but of course I'm at that point, I'm sharing, and I'm not saying, obviously, that's still, protecting my some of the things about it, like the specifics about it, but I'm just like, just sharing, like, I'm just sharing. And I'm like, I just don't want to be deceived. I just don't want to be deceived. I just don't want to be. And she's like, you're battling, and the reason why you're battling so hard is because you haven't accepted it. And I was like, you're right. I haven't accepted it. And I was like, it just feels like torment. Just going, and she's like, I haven't accepted it. It's like the enemy is using that to torment you, while God is using that to encourage you. Like, he's putting it before you to show you, like, it's happening, and the enemy's using that very thing to discourage you. And y'all, it just really did something to my spirit, because everything about the circumstance. Normally, I would go to Next Gym, or have my daughter go to the where they have children's church. I would normally do that. If I did that, I wouldn't have stayed for the altar call. So God had already orchestrated my steps, like me listening to that little voice and just trusting him. Because at that point, hmm, I'm something at that point, y'all, I had already experienced, after I had experienced a situation with the person that God has called me to give to, and I finally was able to move in obedience, and I felt so like, okay, God is in that, and it didn't look the way I wanted it to look. I wanted it to be like secret angel mission, and it didn't turn to secret angel mission because they all saw me and I wanted to be anonymous, but that's besides the point. I did what God told me to do, and I was like, okay, I released it. I know the enemy's just trying to get me with making me feel discouraged because it didn't happen exactly the way I wanted it to, but that's fine. I did what God wanted me to do. That's all I'm required. I had peace about it. Then, another situation and another situation and another situation. Y'all, it was like 5 situations in one day. I was like, I'm going to be faithful. I'm going to be faithful. I'm going to be obedient. I'm going to be obedient. And y'all, I've like literally been in this place of like, again, I'm not perfect. And this walk is not about me being perfect. It's about me being obedient. When God calls me to do something, do I do it? If he puts a prompting in my spirit to do something, do I do it? Do I do it? And I do. And I'm like getting to a place where I know it's him. I'm like, and it's getting faster, and the movements are coming. And that Sunday was just a testament to that, because the promptings were telling me to do things that in the moment didn't make sense to me, and it was against what I would normally do. But because I had gotten to a place of like, God, I surrender it. I surrender it. It doesn't make sense to me for my 6-year-old who's going to be 7 this year to go to service with me, because she's not going to, she's going to do what she do. But still, I was like, I am going to do it. I'm going to do what you call me to do. It does not have to make sense to me. And for some of you guys that are listening to me today, I need you to hear me very clearly. God doesn't have to make sense to you. A lot of us, what we do is we try to make sense of what God is saying or what he's doing. And he's talking to us in his way. And we're like, but God, I don't see it. And he's like, no, I need you to start trusting the spirit. I need you to start trusting the promptings. I need you to start trusting the ways that I speak to you, that you may not see it and you may not understand it, but I am developing you for something. And there's somebody on here that's watching me that is struggling with trusting God because you've been hurt, struggling with trusting God because you've been disappointed, struggling with trusting God because there's so many different things that are happening simultaneously, and you're feeling like you're crazy. But I'm here to tell you, you're not crazy. You're in great company. Abraham looked crazy. Noah looked crazy. David looked crazy. Joseph looked crazy. Elijah looked crazy. Elisha looked crazy. John the Baptist looked crazy. Paul looked crazy. Jesus looked crazy. Everybody in the Bible that was called to do something incredible looked crazy at some point or another. You're in great company. And I know how isolating that can feel, because you know that God is doing something. You feel it inside of you. You can see things shifting. You can see the trees moving a certain way, how the birds are coming to you. There's certain birds that come around, and you're like, there's a cardinal here. There's an eagle here. There's a falcon here. God is speaking to me through these numbers. I keep seeing this number and that number, and this means something to me. And you're like, but I don't have any real reason to based upon earthly or worldly realm. But family, I want you guys to know there's a realm that's more real than what we see. And sometimes we can be so hyper fixated on what we see, so hyper fixated on our inadequacies and what we actually have. And we can't handle this and we can't do that. And the enemy's really good about creating like this chaotic storm of shame and guilt and condemnation, and getting us to doubt, and making us really question what God is telling us. And we know what he's telling us, and we're sure of it. And it sounds crazy, but it's God. But in order to reach the place that God has you, family, is where I want to land the plane. Do you trust him? Not just with the things that are easy, but the things that stretch you a little bit. Because what I found is that people, when I speak to them and they want to hear what God is saying, they take bits and pieces of it. They don't trust God enough to fully obey what he's called them to. because they don't see it. And it's hard to move according to our faith. It's hard to move according to the unseen. But I'm saying from my perspective and where I sit today, that every step of obedience has brought me to a place where I hear God in a way I wouldn't trade for the world. I now, when we started the journey together, God and I, in the beginning, it was about the promise. It was about what he was telling me. There was things that he was showing me and telling me, and I was so excited about those things. And with that being said, I was focused on the outcome. And I was convicted about a month in, or a month and a half in, really, I think, that it was really about the outcome. And that's why my wilderness season in the past had been derailed, was because the outcome didn't look like it was going to go down the way I wanted it to. And so I gave up. I went my own way and I wasted a lot of time. And so now God has given me another chance. And y'all, I'm coming for everything that God has for me. Everything. I'm coming for all of it. And I'm not giving up. And it's hard sometimes. And there's days where I cry all day long. There's days where I'm happy all day long. It's been up and down. But even in the moments that are hard and tearful, when I take it to my Creator, when I give it to him, literally I have peace. He gives me peace that surpasses all understanding. He understands me better than I understand myself. And one thing you must know is God foreshadows that everything that you've been through is not for no reason. You met those people for those reasons. You met that person for a reason. That person sticks out to you for a reason. That video sticks out to you for a reason. That car sticks out to you for a reason. That situation, that family, whatever. Everything is for a reason. It's not just coincidence. And as I've lived this life, and I'm 35 years old now, I look back, everything God has shown me, everything that I've experienced has been for a reason. It was necessary. And so now, at this point, when I'll be honest with you, the enemy was getting at me today, putting doubts in my head about different things that I am believing God for. I even woke up with random scratches on my arm, which is a whole nother thing we could talk about another day. But I was like, that's weird, but I was like, it's warfare, man. It's real. Warfare is real. When you are believing God for something and you're being obedient and you're kind of heavy stepping, you're going to attract some attention. And it's going to come with warfare, and you've got to be prepared for it. And I'm not going to come here and tell you that the journey is easy, because it's not. I'm not going to present it as that. But what I will say is that it's worth it. And my journey has become much less about the outcome and more so about the journey, because I've grown so much, family. I understand purpose in a different way. I know that I have a purpose. God has created me for a purpose, and I don't understand everything yet. I don't really know all the things. Like, we know prophecy in part. We don't know it fully, but he gives us enough to know that there's something happening in the unseen. There's something that he's created for you to do. Don't delay it. Stop running. Stop trying to make sense of it. Stop letting your ego and your pain and your past hurts. A lot of the things that God called me to do that challenged the pain parts of me or the triggered parts of me was to heal me. And it did. It actually did. I was surprised in the end, but the peace that I feel in certain situations that used to plague me, I feel peace in. And I'm like, where did that come from? And it was me just, when the heat turns up and you're feeling the pressure, going before the Father and saying, I repent of this. I'm struggling with this. Just being completely honest. David was honest, family. He just put his heart on his sleeve and he said, listen, God, I'm struggling with how they betrayed me. I'm struggling with how I feel about this. He gave it all to the Father, and he let the Father sift it, and he let the Father just take it off the brim and purify him, so that when he looked at David, he saw himself. I encourage you, family, don't run away from being uncomfortable. Don't run away from sacrificing things that you know that God is calling you to do. Don't run away from pursuing the things God has called you to. God has a purpose. God has a plan. And if he's pursued you and he's brought you to this video, I believe you're chosen. You're chosen for such a time as this. While there's a spiritual awakening going on, family. And he needs you to get on board. God has a purpose for you. Stop allowing bitterness. Stop allowing the past. Stop allowing anything, opportunities, distractions, people, counterfeits. I don't care what it is. You can get all the opportunities in the world, but if you are not in purpose, it will not fulfill you. You can get all the money in the world. Without purpose, it doesn't fulfill you. Lock in, family. Make the sacrifices. Walk in obedience. Be not just a hearer, but a doer of the word of God, of what God is calling you, the promptings you feel in your spirit. He promises exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ever ask, think, or imagine. I believe. I'm going to speak a little greasy. I believe with all of my being that my life is going to be a testimony, God's display, that doing it his way is not inferior, it's superior. He doesn't just give you the position, he prepares you for it. So that when you're in it, you don't fall to the wayside like everybody else. You steward it and you steward it well. That God's way is superior. His plans are superior. He is superior. I'll be his display. I will be his display. I just pray that he continues to give me the strength to do it. All right, family. I love you guys very much. I hope you guys are on board. God's asking you today, do you trust him? Not like a cute little saying, like, yeah, I trust God. We got to trust him. I trust him. No. Do you really trust me? Do you? Do you really trust him? Can you give it all up? Tell that guy, can you give it all up and follow me? He's like, about that. Do you really trust him? All right, family. Like this video, subscribe, and I will see you guys next week. All right? I love you guys. Bye-bye. And that's a wrap. If this episode spoke to you, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube or leave a review wherever you're listening. Let's keep the convo going. Connect with me on all socials. Remember, real beauty starts with you being true to yourself. I love you, family, and I'll see you soon.